Hey guys, Road Warrior back here. After 1,500 comps in approximately a year, I did go off on quite the endeavor here on Fishing Planet. Now, I kind of wanted to give you my overall review of comps and my thoughts after that many comps. It's definitely, I've got a fair sized sample of it. Starting right out of the gates with some of the cons. Number one, and first and foremost, I have to say, is even when you put the time and work in, I don't know why this is a thing. It's like trying to win the lottery twice. What are the odds? In other words, why can't we choose our own reward here out of the five? Why does that have to be random on top of all the other randomness that will happen there? Again, I'm not going to keep this whole thing negative, but just right out of the gates there, I can't help myself but to put that up. I think the Fishing Planet community is general. You should be able to pick rewards if you have, podiumed in something, or at the very least, pay the top five. Pay the top five, Fishing Planet. I don't know. That's my thoughts again after 1,500 competitions. This is going to be my opinion after and during 1,500 of these. So for you guys that disagree or agree, that's just fine. But this is just my thoughts on my channel, so I'm putting that up here as I go along through the clips here. I've had a lot of, for the most part, the majority of my Fishing Planet competitions, I would say as much as 90%, to be honest with you, has been a positive experience. It's a lot to endure. When you're getting bad bite rates and that sort of thing. That's one thing as well that I would list on a con is when you're going for something, you know how to catch it, whether the game breaks or it's just not your day. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the two, so it makes it very difficult to adjust. How do you adjust in something where you can't tell if your bite rate's broken or the game's glitched out? What is it exactly that goes on when you're fishing for something that you know how to catch? In other words, you can't fine-tune something if you're not getting bites. That would probably be one of the other negatives. As far as the positives, there's so many competitions on Fishing Planet on a positive note. There's definitely stuff for everybody, no matter what you like to fish for. I want to say there's over 80 competitions now on Fishing Planet, so definitely pick and choose the ones that you like to start. From there, fine tune up to you on how many that you actually want to learn. But as far as the diversity in regards to even the custom competitions here, definitely don't leave those out. I know Super Dave usually puts up great ones. There's several other sponsored competition guys that host those things. Always be on the lookout for those. Anywhere from the gap competitions are extremely fun. Your total weight, total points, those can be fun as well. Again, I just want to, give my thoughts here. Again, that's a pretty big sample size of competitions, 1,500 in a year. Good grief, I can't even believe I got that many in. A guy has been grinding on them and trying to help you guys out along the way, and I do appreciate all your guys' support, as well as a lot of the guys that's dropped by and left tips and that sort of thing. But again, you'll notice in some of this stuff, again, whether you're getting killed by sizes, small fish after small fish, that sort of thing, and there's only so much you can do. Again, you just got to work your way up through it. A lot of the positives as well as being able to battle through. That's one thing I can tell you from just kind of passing my experience on to you guys that are just getting into these comps, whether you got 50 underneath your belt or even, let's say, 300. I would strongly encourage you to just keep trying. I think in general most people would agree. Sometimes to get better at something, it's just going to take repetition, and you will find those odd things where you've practiced something and it just doesn't go your way. But I would encourage you to keep trying. Pick the ones that you do like. I wouldn't give up altogether. I know there's a lot of toxicity out there right now for sure, whether there's people exploiting that sort of thing. Now here's something I'm going to talk about in regards to fishing here, and this is basically an example of what I would coin the phrase server hopping. Actually, in this particular instance, I started in a different server just trying to avoid the resets, the constant resetting, whether there's people, I'm lightly going to touch on that subject, whether they're missing fish, simply resetting, come back and catching the same fish. I wanted to play Saltwater Giants, and I was just showing you an example of how quick some of those fish can come out when my lobby feels like it's glitched out. On another example of starting in another thing where I know I'm not going to have people resetting constantly. As you can see, one of the few times here since the reset, and I didn't even finish this out, but I'm just going to show you, and my buddy Jordan would appreciate this. This is me actually getting 3 uniques in the first 15 minutes here at the Bass Challenge. Unfortunately, it had to be done in another server. I didn't even end up finishing this round. I just started in this server just to see if it would play out that way. I don't know why I feel like I have to be in another server to feel like I get the luck or the actual reward for knowing how to catch a certain fish. But again, just looking at the net, I didn't even finish this round, but I just wanted this up on the clip, just showing you I caught 3 uniques. like I used to be able to before that thing, and I don't know. To me, it just feels like I have to be in certain servers to have good luck. Another example of this, actually, again, server hopping, or however you want to phrase this term. This is not what I would define as resetting. Resetting would be if you miss a fish, you end up back in the save lobby casting for the fish only to have it reappear after you've missed it. That's a different conversation in itself, and as how I would classify it. This is an example of leaving a lobby because your lobby feels broke and or a dead bite rate. It's definitely a gray area in my mind. It's not something that's illegal or against the rules. What are you supposed to do when you can't even get a bite? But this is just another example. I don't even take first place or anything in this, but I think I ended up in like top 5 or 6. But it's just another example of I got out of that room I was in, and I'm in a room by myself in a different language, metric, whatever. But you can see clearly what happens here. I definitely changed my luck going from what was going to be just a normal dismal, all your fish bounce off here in the best 5 for whatever reason. Are they programmed not to bite? Is that how the algorithm works? That's just an example. As well as I'm not going to sit and pick on Fishing Planet about all this stuff. We know that games don't always function properly, but it's a great time, I think, for them to at least hopefully look at this stuff at some point. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Are you supposed to be able to just go from lobby to lobby until your luck changes? I don't know exactly how I feel about it, other than who wants to sit and fish for 45 minutes and all your fish bounce off, none of them hook, and or we all well know that there's issues with flying fish in the game as well, fly across the map, that sort of thing. So that's something that I hope they do address when they go to open the saltwater map. Again, I'm not trying to be overly negative, but I'm just showing you an example again of just what I would coin the phrase is server hopping, or trying to play in a server where you're all by yourself. In my opinion, I hate when I'm in a lobby, and especially in Saltwater Giants, where they leave, join, leave, join. You can tell they're missing fish. They're coming back, trying to get that the fish to respawn. It's clear as day what's going on, in my opinion. I get it. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. Like, again, on one hand, if the game's not functioning properly and your fish fly across the map, what are you supposed to do? It's frustrating. That's where I think it's part of the game functioning correctly. Again, this is just another positive, just having fun in a custom comp. Again, it's not all bad, guys. For the most part, I know I seem like I'm ranting, but I think a lot of people appreciate it. I just hope that the game does evolve. It's a great game. I think that one thing great out of the club series in general was just the overall participation has grown here on Fishing Planet competition, and that's a good thing. You guys, anybody that follows along the channel knows that I am a good sport. I've won pretty much the majority of stuff that I wanted to win, as well as gained a lot of friends along the way. So that's more important, I think, to me, is having fun and that sort of thing. But I do, as a customer, as a content creator, as a player that enjoys this game tremendously, I do hope that Fishing Planet devs do look at some of the competitions and the weird exploits and the improper functioning of the game itself, whether your fish are flying off, all the other odd things that go here, that go on in this game, especially in the competitions. Whether there's exploits and that sort of thing. That's something that I'm not the guy, just in closing here, as I can't cross the finish line, picking on myself for my own mistakes. But nonetheless, I think that if they look at this stuff, eventually I think they'll be able to correct some of it. I do strongly encourage them to look at some of the issues that they're having in the competitions. Hopefully that they will improve it. But I don't want to discourage anybody from playing the competitions. I do thoroughly enjoy them. Again, after 1,500 comps, there's my thoughts, guys, and leave your comments in the sections below on ways to improve them.